Julius Caesar is one of history's greatest figures, admired for his political genius and unmatched military skill, inspiring leaders all across the timelines, even centuries after his death. Leaders like Napoleon was inspired by this man. He is certainly remembered as a legend. But there is an irony. Hidden in Caesar's story is a darker legacy that could have possibly shifted the world as we know it today. During his campaign in Alexandria in 48 BC, Caesar became entangled in Egypt's civil war between Cleopatra and her brother, Ptolemy XIII. In the fighting, Caesar ordered ships in the harbor to be set ablaze. The flames quickly spread beyond the docks and, according to many accounts, reached the city itself, engulfing everything in its reach. And with it, the great library of Alexandria. This wasn't just any building, it was humanity's treasure chest of wisdom, filled with scrolls on science, philosophy, medicine, and history. It held entire worlds of knowledge and vast cultures and past civilizations, just for most of it to be scorched in the flames of war in one single night. The Library of Alexandria wasn't just another collection of books. It was the greatest archive of knowledge the ancient world had ever seen. Founded in the 3rd century BC under the Ptolemaic dynasty, it aimed to gather every text in existence. Ships arriving at Alexandria's harbor were said to have their manuscripts seized, copied by scribes, and added to the library's shelves. Some estimates suggest it may have housed over 400 to 700,000 scrolls, covering every field imaginable: astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, medicine, and even engineering. Among its treasures were works by great thinkers and people like Euclid, the father of geometry, Archimedes, the genius inventor and mathematician, and Hippocrates, the pioneer of medicine. But beyond these familiar names, the library likely contained texts we never even heard of, records of lost civilizations, forgotten histories, and perhaps even technologies centuries ahead of their time. Possible blueprints for advanced machines, medical cures, or astronomical calculations. Discoveries that could have propelled humanity far earlier into the modern ages. Some historians speculate the library may have held texts from lands as far as India, Mesopotamia, or even China, creating a true crossroads of global knowledge. Its shelves weren't just scrolls of parchment, they were seeds of progress. And when the library fell, much of that potential may have been erased forever. But the library's decline was not a result of a single fire or one dramatic night. It was a drawn-out tragedy, spanning centuries. The library survived after the Civil War, though severely weakened. By the 3rd century AD, Alexandria was still considered a center of learning and culture, but its intellectual glory was fading. Around this time, the Roman Empire was in a struggling crisis plagued by political instability, invasions, and economic troubles. In the east of the empire, a remarkable woman rose to power, Queen Zenobia of Palmyra. After the death of her husband, she became the regent for her young son, Vabalatalis, and quickly transformed Palmyra into a powerful state. Ambitious and intelligent, Zenobia expanded her empire, conquering Egypt, including Alexandria. Her control over Egypt, one of Rome's main grain suppliers, made her a serious threat to the empire. Rome needed a leader capable of restoring order in these desperate times, and that leader was Emperor Aurelian. Known as the restorer of the world, Aurelian was a brilliant general and a strict ruler. Determined to reunify the fractured empire, in 272 AD, he launched a campaign against Zenobia, beginning with Alexandria. The city's Bruchion district, where the library was located, suffered fierce fighting, and many of the remaining scrolls were likely destroyed. This clash between two extraordinary figures, Zenobia, the ambitious queen, and Aurelian, the determined emperor, was not just a battle for territory, but a turning point in history of one of the world's greatest centers of knowledge, as the library was a mere shadow of its former self, once again took a great deal of damage beyond repair, further crippling the once magnificent library of Alexandria, but now fragile and suffering once again under politics and war. Then came the more deliberate destruction. In 391 AD, Emperor Theodosius banned pagan worship across the Roman Empire. In Alexandria, that decree sealed the fate of the Seraphim, a towering temple dedicated to the god Seraphis. By then, it wasn't only a place of worship, it had become a sanctuary for scholars and may have sheltered what remained of the great library's scrolls. When Christian zealots, backed by imperial authority, stormed the temple, they smashed idols, toppled statues, and set the complex ablaze. Ancient accounts describe a fierce clash between the pagans defending the temple and mobs determined to erase it all. In the chaos, any surviving manuscripts and scrolls were almost certainly destroyed. The fall of the Seraphim wasn't just the loss of a temple. It was the symbolic death of Alexandria as the intellectual capital of the ancient world, and with it a vast reservoir of human knowledge vanished into history. In truth, the Library of Alexandria didn't vanish in one single event, but in a long, tragic unraveling. A mix of war, politics, religion, and neglect that erased what may have been the greatest treasure trove of human knowledge ever assembled. And yet, It never truly recovered from Caesar's fire in 48 BC. That blaze crippled its vast collections, scattering scholars and leaving only fragments of what it once was. From that point on, the library's existence was always a mere shadow of itself, a fading echo of the greatest hub of knowledge the ancient world had ever known. Its halls, once alive with discovery and brilliance, would never again sadly reach their full glory. What makes this tragedy even more unbearable is not just the burning of the scrolls, but the burning of possibilities. The library may have held cures for diseases that plagued humanity for centuries. It may have contained blueprints for machines that could have reshaped technology long before the industrial age. It may have preserved histories of forgotten civilizations and philosophies that could have altered how we see the world even today. We lost not just knowledge but potential. A wisdom that could have propelled humanity centuries ahead of where we stand today. It's truly a tale of endless possibilities, of what could have been, leaving behind a yearning feeling. As we are nearing the end of this video, please leave a like and subscribe to follow us on our future journeys together. And therefore I say, that is the hidden, darker side of Caesar's legacy and story. A man celebrated for his brilliance, admired for his political genius, and remembered as a role model for leaders and people alike across time, but yet also have set in motion the loss of humanity's greatest place of knowledge to possibly ever exist. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why this, in my opinion, is a great irony of Caesar's tale. Yes, his victories shaped the future, becoming an iconic figure for centuries to come, accomplishing feats nearly impossible. But the fire of one of his many triumphs just may have erased a past that could have changed civilization as we know it forever. Now I ask you, was the victory and conquering of Egypt to spread the Roman influence truly worth it? At the cost of the irreversible damage done to the Library of Alexandria, of which this magnificent place in all of human history never fully recovered. I mean, the whole concept of its goal being so very advanced for its time, the assembling and gathering of knowledge all across the globe, serving as a place of power, all to be repeatedly engulfed by the flames of